Welcome back to Thrifty Finance Vision PH. We're excited to have you here for our latest corporate updates, and we'll be bringing you more insightful content in the days to come. Stay tuned for a wealth of valuable information about the world of finance and business. Your journey to financial empowerment starts here. Now let's get started. Budget airline Cebu Pacific brings back its 1 peso fare promo to encourage more people to travel. Cebu Pacific relaunched its peso fare promo for both domestic and international flights this month. Travelers can book their flights for as low as 1 peso one-way base fare, excluding fees and surcharges, from November 8th to 11th, for travel between April 1st and October 31st, 2024. Cebu Pacific offers flights to various tourist destinations in the country, such as Boracay, Laoag, Dumaguete, Ozamas, Davao, and Tacloban. It also has direct flights from Manila, Cebu, or Clark for international travel. Recently, the airline received its 13th aircraft delivery this year, a new Airbus A320neo, to meet the growing demand for air travel and enhance its operational resilience. Cebu Pacific expects 19 more aircraft deliveries, with 6 deliveries before the end of the year. It currently operates one of the youngest fleets in the world, with a diversified fleet mix of 74 aircraft, enabling the widest network coverage in the Philippines. The airline flies to 35 domestic and 25 international destinations across Asia, Australia, and the Middle East. The Department of Energy has resumed issuing permits for large energy projects. The Philippine government has resumed issuing permits for large energy projects that are deemed to be of national significance. This move is aimed at streamlining the permitting and licensing process, which has been a major challenge for energy investors in the country. The Department of Energy will release new guidelines for the issuance of the Certificate of Energy Project of National Significance, CEP&S, within 60 days. The CEP&S is a special permit that is granted to large energy projects that have significant benefits to the country, such as economic development, energy security, and environmental protection. The Department of Energy has already granted CEP&S status to 149 projects, with a total investment cost of 795.52 billion pesos. However, the issuance of CEP&S was suspended in 2020 to allow for a review of its effectiveness. The Department of Energy is now lifting the suspension and will be releasing new guidelines to ensure that the CEP&S process is more efficient and transparent. The new guidelines will also clarify the criteria for awarding CEP&S status to energy projects. The government's decision to resume CEP&S issuance is a positive step for the energy sector. It will help to attract more investment in large energy projects, which will boost the country's economic growth and energy security. The total value of agricultural production in the Philippines decreased by 0.3% in the third quarter of 2023. The Philippines' agricultural output fell for the second consecutive quarter in the third quarter of 2023, mainly due to declines in crop and fisheries production. The value of production in agriculture and fisheries at constant 2018 prices dipped by 0.3% to 412.412 billion pesos in the July to September period, due to reductions in crops and fisheries production. This was a reversal from the 1.6% growth in the same period a year ago, but an improvement from the 1.2% contraction in the second quarter this year. Crop production, which accounts for more than half, or 54% of the sector's overall production, slipped by 0.4% to 222.69 billion pesos in the third quarter. This was a reversal of the 1.8% expansion in the same period a year ago, and the 1.2% growth in the second quarter of 2023. Fisheries production recorded the steepest drop in the third quarter as production fell by 6.1% to 58.72 billion pesos, worsening from the 5.2% decline a year ago, but improving from the 13.8% contraction in the previous quarter. The livestock and poultry sectors, on the other hand, recorded gains in the third quarter. The value of livestock production rose by 2.5% to 66.1 billion pesos, while poultry output expanded by 2.9% to 64.89 billion pesos. Despite the slight contraction in the value of farm production in the third quarter, the Department of Agriculture (DA) said there are still strong indications the sector could contribute positively to the economy. The DOE set a target of 2.3% to 2.5% for agricultural output growth this year. For the last quarter of the year, experts are not optimistic for a turnaround in agricultural output growth due to the El Niño weather event. However, the DOE said there is a possibility for crops to post higher growth in the fourth quarter as it is peak Palay harvest. In October, Globe Telecom secured a 12 billion pesos loan from 3 banks. Globe Telecom Incorporated, a subsidiary of the Ayala Group, borrowed 12 billion pesos from 3 local banks to fund its capital expenditures and debt refinancing in 2023. The company signed term loan facilities with Bank of the Philippine Islands, China Banking Corporation, and Robinsons Bank Corporation for 3 billion pesos, 5 billion pesos, and 4 billion pesos, respectively. The loans will be used to finance Globe's capital expenditures, debt refinancing, and/or general corporate requirements. In the first 3 quarters of 2023, Globe invested 54 billion pesos, down by 27% from a year ago. This reduction is in line with Globe's focus on capital efficiency and optimization. Bulk of the amount, or 91%, was allocated for data requirements to ensure that customers will be able to access the best digital solutions and connectivity anytime. Globe's net income amounted to 19.36 billion pesos from January to September, down from 26.5 billion pesos in the same period last year. This decline is due to increased depreciation expense and non-operating charges. Excluding the one-time gain, normalized net income would have been 14.8 billion pesos, or down by 11% compared to the previous year. Globe's net income also dropped 12% in the third quarter to 4.98 billion pesos from 5.7 billion a year pesos earlier. Core net income, which excludes the impact of non-recurring charges, foreign exchange, and mark-to-market charges, closed at 14.8 billion pesos in the first 9 months, down by 8% from 16.01 billion pesos in the same period in 2022. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas will maintain its restrictive monetary policy stance in the coming months. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, BSP, has vowed to keep its monetary policy settings sufficiently tight as the country's inflation path is expected to remain elevated in the coming months. This is despite the inflation rate easing sharply to 4.9% in October 2023 from 6.1% in September. Economists believe that the BSP's hiking cycle is now over, as another rate hike for this year is already off the table. However, the BSP has said that it deems it necessary to keep monetary policy settings sufficiently tight until inflation expectations are better anchored and a sustained downtrend in inflation becomes evident. The BSP has identified a number of upside risks to the inflation outlook, including the potential impact of higher transport charges, increased electricity rates, higher oil prices, and the higher-than-expected minimum wage adjustment in areas outside the National Capital Region, NCR. Other upside risks include the non-extension of Executive Order 10, higher domestic food prices, and the additional effect of a strong El Niño episode on food prices and utility rates. On the other hand, the BSP has identified the impact of a weaker-than-expected global recovery and successful implementation of government measures to mitigate the impact of El Niño weather conditions as possible primary downside risks to the outlook. The BSP has said that it is prepared to undertake further monetary policy action as necessary to prevent supply-side pressures on prices from leading to additional second-round effects and dislodging inflation expectations. The BSP raised its key policy rates by a total of 450 basis points since May 2022 as it intensified its battle against inflation and to stabilize the peso. We've reached the end of our video, covering the latest economic and corporate updates. Be sure to stay connected with us because we'll be delivering even more of this valuable content in the days and weeks to come. Your source for up-to-date financial insights and business news is just a click away. I trust you gained valuable insights from this video. Remember to show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel. We look forward to having you with us in our next video.